Welcome to the Simpler Business Podcast, where we talk about ways to do what you love and serve your people in a way that brings you income and freedom. I'm your host, Marissa Roberts. Join me as I chat with my favorite entrepreneurs about how they simplify their biz so that you can simplify yours. What does it take to build $1 million business? It's a number that feels like a leap to many of us, but there are more and more entrepreneurs hitting and surpassing the $1 million mark every year. And that's got me wondering, what do they have in common? Does it come down to the industry or the type of product or service that you offer? Is it your pricing, your ability to scale, or is it simply confidence and resilience that gets you there? Do you have to work harder to make more money? In my experience, the answer is no. You can slog it out 10 hours a day in your business, but if you're not taking any revenue generating action, you're not bringing in an income. It's more about being strategic with your business plan, your offers, your pricing, and your ability to scale. I think for most entrepreneurs and business owners, the tricky part is knowing what to do to build $1 million business. What are the actual steps that you take to get there? What are the must-dos, the non-negotiable actions that can make a really big difference to your level of success? Well, the best way to find out those answers is to ask someone who has made it happen and learn from their experience, what worked for them, what they do differently if they were starting from scratch. There is so much that we can learn from hearing other people's stories and learning about their experiences. And that is what we're going to do right now. Founder of Lifestyle Industries, Mel Brandt, joins me today to talk about the foundations for $1 million business. Mel shows business owners how to automate their business so they can have more time freedom. And you guys know I love that. After feeling like her babies were being raised by their daycare center, Mel decided it was time to change the way she thought about the future. So she dived into the online space with no idea what she was doing and very little experience, but what she did have was a hunger for a life for her and her girls that some people only dream of. And now, after 7 years in the online space, Mel has been able to create her exact ideal days. She's obsessed with marketing and ecosystem automation, and thanks to that, she now gets to share her knowledge and insight with hundreds of other business owners, allowing them to have smart business systems. Time freedom is real if you are smart with your setup. So Mel, welcome. I am so excited that you're here today.
Thank you. That's a bit of a rock star entrance. I love it.
I love a good intro. I really like your story because I relate to it because I've got a couple of kids as well. And I kind of dived in online back when I think blogging was really the big thing, back 2009.
Wow,
Yeah, 2009, 2010, that's kind of like where I dipped my toe in. And then from 2011, that's kind of when I went, hang on a minute, I think I can really make this work as a business. And once we dive down that rabbit hole, there is no turning back, right?
Yeah, once you open that can of worms, you can't unsee what you find in the online space, whether that's personal development. I know that was a can of worms that I opened that I didn't even know needed to be opened. Whether it's business, whether it's, anything in the online space. It's kind of once you find it, that's it. It's the gift that you get to keep.
Yeah, your life changes forever and you wonder what you were doing until then.
I know, right?
So tell us a little bit more about how you got started with your business, because I think a lot of my listeners can relate to that whole learning how to build your business while you build your business kind of experience.
Yeah. And look, I entered the online space in network marketing. So, I kind of entered in a very different place to what I am now, but I watched people have the life that I didn't have. So that was the thing that the online space brought to me as a gift, was I got to see that there was another option and I had no education around it. I went back to work after baby number 2 and I hated every single drive into work. I was like, this does not light me up. I hate this. Like, surely there has to be something else. But I had no idea that, another way was even possible. So, when that kind of fell into my lap, because it literally fell into my lap. I was one of those people that I watched for 6 months. I was like, oh no, I'm good. No, I'm fine. Right. Like, I'm obviously not in enough pain yet to make the jump. I sat on the sidelines for quite some time. And once, what actually got me across the line into taking the leap was a photo of a cup of coffee. I got so sick to death of watching this certain female, going out for coffee with her friends every single day and traveling and doing all these things. And I was like, right. I mean, she's not a brain scientist. So I was like, surely I can work it out. I had no idea. And when I did find out about more, it made sense to me, and I dived in. So I had no experience, like none. I didn't have a previous following. I didn't have any of the skills or tools, that I do now. I literally just had that hunger, for more. I knew that I was capable of more. So, again, after I picked up my youngest from daycare, and they said to me, Mel, oh my God, Imani just took her first steps today. And I was like, no, this is it for me. Like, this is it. I can't, I brought them into the world. I can't not watch this unfold. And, I've always been really driven in the sense, I don't really need to have all the answers, just, give me a rough idea and I'll kind of work the rest out. And what I didn't want was to continue to pass down generations of poverty mindset. And, that was, you work hard for your money, you work till you're 80 or 85 or whatever. And, then you get to enjoy the little bit of life that you have left, if you haven't, already passed because of stress, because of whatever comes up. So for me, that was really, really important. Massive. Everyone says you only get, one chance at this life, but I really, really take that to heart. Where we're already, almost halfway through what a typical life would look like. So I really wanted to be able to give my kids the knowledge of building business, not by telling them what it looked like, by showing them.
Yeah, by role modeling it. Yeah, I can so relate to that too, because I remember when my kids were 2 and 4 and I was just kind of deciding whether or not to ditch corporate. I was really quite depressed because I used to love that job.
Yeah.
And then I went and had my kids, and then I went back after years of mat leave, and it was just different. It was like I was painted with like a mum brush. Like nobody did it deliberately, but everyone was like, oh, you don't want to travel anymore. Or, I would be working like till late at night, and I would get home, or even on just the regular shifts, I would get home and it was time to just do bath time and dinner time in bed. And that was it. I didn't get any time at all. And now my kids are like, pretty much end of primary school, high school age. I've only got a couple of years left before they even want to spend time with me. Like I got to make the most of it while I can.
Do you know what somebody said to me the other day? They were like, oh, how old's your eldest? And I was like, oh, she's 12. And they're like, oh my God, did you know you've probably only got about 6 more summers with her?
Oh, that blows my mind.
Oh, snap. I knew that it's going quickly. You've only got to blink and you're like, whoa, what happened to you? When did you grow up? But 6 summers? Are you kidding me? And it's probably even less. I mean, she's already like, I don't really want to hang out with you. Right?
No. I'm already cringe according to my kids. They're like, oh, we love you, but you're a bit cringe, Mum.
Look, I haven't quite got that yet, but I think it's coming. So look, for me, it was so incredibly important to create a lifestyle where, I've said to my kids now, you're going to have to be an entrepreneur that's successful, because I've given you a taste of a lifestyle that you're not going to want to go backwards from, and I think that that's really amazing. If I had have only ever shown them the basics and the mediocre, I'm going to throw that word out there, then that would have only been what they ever expected for themselves. But if I show them this amazing life of travel and choices and being able to say yes to pretty much everything, they're going to have to create a pretty amazing life for themselves. If my legacy doesn't outlive them, then they're going to have to go and create something pretty amazing, because they're going to be used to it. Yeah. So it's kind of like setting them up that if I show you all the things now, well, you're going to have to go and get it, because you're not going to want to, and this, even my daughter now, she's talking about her first car, and I'm like, well, you better start saving. And her first car isn't something that's cheap. She's been driven around in nice vehicles.
She won't want an old bomb. Yeah.
That's what she wants, right? And, a lot of people might be listening going, oh, that's materialistic or whatever. But, I think it really starts with the lifestyle that you create for yourself and what you expect and what you tell yourself that you deserve. And I'm incredibly proud now to be like, hey, these little girls are going to be out there balling because they're going to have to. So hopefully, we don't get a manual when we do this parenting thing, right? But I thought, I'm going to do it different. If everybody in society is going left, then I'm going to go right.
Yeah, why not? And you know what? There's never been a better time to start your own business or to do something that you're good at naturally or something that you enjoy. We've got the technology, we've got the software, we've got the internet. Everything is relatively affordable. It's the best time to do it. And in fact, I think kind of we're doing our kids a disservice if we don't show them that at the very least, making money with a side hustle is possible. But once you get that taste for it, side hustle is never enough.
That's it. You're like, it started small, but now, it consumes me. I get that, every business that I've had started as a side hustle. And, we've recently, because 2 businesses isn't enough, right? So launched a third. And, it does when you become, and this I think is the main, description of success is when your purpose and your passion align.
Yeah.
And you can find a way to make money as well. Like that to me is complete success. It doesn't matter what the dollar value is. It doesn't matter what you earn per month. If you literally would do what you're doing now, even if you didn't get paid, right? Like you've worked out what your thing is.
Yeah, I totally agree. But even then, I don't want to work 24/7, right? I want a little bit of freedom. I want to be able to do what I want with my life and have fun too. So I know on your website, a lot of the time you're talking about this thing called ecosystem automation, and I'm really keen to share that with our listeners. So do you want to give us a heads up on what that means?
Yes, and this is definitely one of the most popular questions that we get is, everyone knows what automation is. It's definitely not new to the online space, but ecosystem automation is something that a lot of people don't really know is possible. So when I started to try and scale my first company, we were bringing on team, as a lot of listeners might know in network marketing, bringing on team and you've got to train them and then you got to coach them every week. And, it can be really, really time consuming. So when I started thinking about scaling, I thought to myself, geez, like I'd already given myself a glorified 9 to 5 and it was more like a 6 till 11 p.m. right? Like I was absolutely consumed the first time round with business. And when I reached, where I was heading and got to the big top position and I was still telling my kids no and and I can't and I'm busy, I went, oh, like we've got a big problem here and you can hustle and you can succeed, right? But if you haven't created that time freedom and you haven't created the lifestyle, it's not really something that I feel is going to be a business that you're going to want to continue, right? You're going to burn out. And we hear this word burnout a lot. You're going to burn out and you'll probably start getting resentment as well. So ecosystem automation was something that kind of fell into my lap as I started to transition into the online space with marketing. I already knew the gaps from building the first business. And what I've noticed was as I started to build the second company, I knew that I was going to need softwares. I was going to need calendar links. I was going to need websites. I was going to need, booking systems. I was going to need, email sequences and online courses and checkouts and all of these things. And I also knew that every single one of those was a software that you needed to subscribe for. So I'd already kind of dabbled in that. And I think I was paying just under $2,000 a month before I even earned anything, to be able to run a business, right? Which was crazy. Being a mom and becoming a single mom as I built my first business, I was like, that's not feasible for a lot of startup companies. Like, how do you get all the softwares you need and get started and earn money with everything that's coming out of the bank? So, I guess it kind of came from that place where I was like, there'll be so many people in the same position. So I became obsessed with finding a way that it was going to be easier. I wanted to be able to scale. I needed it to be simple. And I also didn't love the idea of having a team of 40 run my business. I was like, I'd rather like a team of 5. A team of 40 is a whole new kettle of fish. And I wanted to keep it small and simple. So ecosystem automation is where your entire business assets are built out of one place. So websites, email marketing, booking systems, online courses, all your automations, campaigns, text messages, anything that you could imagine, online magazines, apps, you name it, all built in one software, which means that I was able to take, $2,000 a month to like $90 a month.
Wow.
And my business scaled dramatically. I think we had a 4,000% increase because I was able to concentrate on working on my business rather than in it. I was able to scale when it came to my team, but my team completely run my company now, and that's with a team of 7. So, to be able to have the team run it and create time freedom, I was able to go from a 60-hour work week to 6 and increase to 6-figure months.
Wow.
So insane changes just by putting a few things into place. But I really started to understand reverse engineering my business as well. So going to where I was heading and waiting for myself to catch up. So really like standing in that end result and then working backwards from there. Whereas I think what a lot of business owners do is we go, okay, well, I need a calendar, right? So I'm going to sign up to Calendly, right? And then I need this, and all right, so I'll sign up. So we actually throw spaghetti at the wall and just hope that something sticks because we are building it as we're building it, which is totally fine. But I challenge the listeners now to actually sit down and think about what your 5 to 10 year vision is for your business. Like what's the figure that you want to create? What's the impact you want to create? What are the courses that you might have? Like what are the things that you want to build? Maybe you want a podcast, maybe you want, membership areas, like what is it going to look like? And then if you do want to go big and you do want to have a lot of those systems in place with the automations and email marketing and everything kind of triggering based on what the client does, then you need to get really smart about how you look at that now. So I guess that was, hindsight is a beautiful thing. And, if I had known that back then, holy moly, it would have been a whole new ball game. But I think also, organic and paid strategy as well is a big, big part of creating the business that you want as well. So there's so many things that come into the automation, whether or not that's automating, Facebook chat bots attached to ads, or whether or not that's automating, follow-up systems for your organic marketing as well. So there's a lot. It's a huge rabbit hole, but it's extremely fun and definitely something that has allowed a lot of people to be able to, reduce that time. So, mums, business owners, already businesses that are turning over high income are coming to us and going, wow, we really wish we had found you when we started, because a company that's earning, 6 or 7 figures a month, if it's not simple, it's painful.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Simple scales and the rest fails.
Yeah, I love that line. That's so true, because I think, and tell me if I'm going down the wrong pathway here, but I think if you've got your system set up well and they can run with automations, that's the key to scaling to that $1 million level, right? Because you don't have to exchange your time for money anymore. You could literally be selling passive products like courses or downloads while you're asleep.
100%.
Yeah, and that's like the key to really scaling without burning out, because you don't have to have a team of 40 people doing sales calls. You don't have to do personal one-on-one coaching. I mean, you can, and you can do it high ticket, but you don't have to burn out anymore, because I think having that sort of passive factor or automated factor, that's what makes a really big difference, right?
Yeah. And look, like I said, you can have the automated factor. A lot of people go, I've already got automation, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, yeah, but does the automation you have now allow your 5 to 10 year vision? Because I know what will happen is that as you have automation set up separately in separate softwares, what happens is as you start to scale, well, this software is going to need to be updated. And so does this one. And now this one's $150 a month, and now this one's $350 a month, So does your system now allow for your 5 to 10 year vision, or are you now going to be paying thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in marketing softwares in 10 years' time. So I think that's the gap not enough people talk about, and not enough people actually let you know that it's all good that you might be on a free plan now, but I can guarantee you if you scale, it's not going to look like that for long.
Yep, yep. And the ones that have the free plans are often the clunkiest ones, you know, they update very rarely. They go behind the times as far as, you know, functionality goes later on. And, you know, I bet I'm not the only one thinking this, but how many times do you come across an entrepreneur or a business owner who says, look, I know I have to change systems, but it's such a big job because I've been in my business for 5 years. I don't want to migrate everything because it's going to be huge. And what if all the links are broken and all the automations don't work anymore? And I'll need a full-time team member just to migrate. That's overwhelming. So get it right at the start.
Yeah.
Have somebody who knows what works in terms of systems and big picture actually show you a nice, easy way to do it. And you're going to save yourself all that headache later.
Oh, gosh.
Money.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of people just don't migrate. They're like, I know I'm spending $700 a month more than I need to, but I just can't make the leap and migrate over yet. I'm too busy. And then it never happens.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it'll either never happen, or what will happen is you'll plateau. So you might get to 50K months, you might get to 100K months, but you're going to stop there, because what will happen is you won't be able to take on the size, like you won't be able to take on a lot more leads. You won't be able to fill that pipeline because you've got nowhere to put these people, because it's so manual. Or the other problem that you'll find is that as you start to add more systems and softwares, right, because you've already started 10 over here and you're probably going to need another 10 over here, what will happen is these 10 don't talk to these 10.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Zapier doesn't work anymore because it doesn't talk to the things. So what happens is it's extremely clunky. But then as building email lists starts to become something that's really important to do, you're going to have a list over here and one over here and one over here. And I can absolutely guarantee you that you will not import and export all of those into one list and get organized. It just doesn't happen. So it's about saying to yourself, you know what, I may not have done it correctly at the start, but I need to put the time into getting it dialed now. And that's really for the people that are serious about having a business that works for you without you.
Yeah.
So incredibly important for me that by the time I was 40, that's it. You know, my company is gonna run itself, and I will choose, you know, who I show up for. And, you know, we were able to do that, you know, many years prior. So, you know, that scaling was possible. And that's really what I want to get through to the listeners today, is that scaling was possible for me from $6,000 months to, you know, way over 6 figures a month happened because I put into place what I teach. Yeah. I didn't just teach it. I actually put it into place, tested it, and went, oh, wow, that worked, right? Okay, cool. Now let's show everyone. And I needed that 7 years ago. I needed somebody to show me. I needed somebody to walk me through it. I needed somebody to help me cast the vision. I needed someone to even explain to me what the hell a membership area looked like and why I would need one, you know. So, and again, it's about the customer journey. I didn't want my clients to be coming in and going, yuck, this doesn't feel right. Or I don't want to log into your portal wherever you've built your course because it's clunky and, you know, half your videos don't play and it looks terrible, you know.
Or it crashes.
Yes, you know, and especially as females, you know, things that are aesthetically pleasing, right, seem to be something that just feels nicer. It feels nicer when it looks nicer. And some of these softwares that you can use, which are either free or you know, paid for, but, you know, not necessarily amazing, you know, there's not a lot of capabilities in how you can make them look either. You know, it's like you make this panel blue and this one black and this one white, and that's about all you get, you know, so it doesn't end up matching your brand. Yeah, which is really, really important. It doesn't match your vibe, doesn't match your style, none of it.
And branding is so important because that's what builds that familiarity and that trust and that feeling like that person knows you and wants to work with you further. Branding is really important across the board like that.
Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah. And even more so, you know, as you start to scale, that brand becomes something that's so much more elevated.
Mhm.
You know, it's really like having a megaphone as you start to scale. It's like, wow, this is who I am, this is what I'm about. But there needs to be that consistency across all of your business, whether or not it's your socials or your automation or your systems, whatever it is, that brand needs to show up. So if you're using systems and softwares that don't really allow you to make too many changes, how are you going to bring that brand through? I know for me, like we're constantly looking at our brand, and we're bringing in a bit of a graffiti vibe at the moment, and it's so epic to be able to now go into my courses and everything's got the same vibe. Yeah, so you
Yes.
open up the course and it's all like graffiti and colorful and, you know, really edgy and vibey, right? I couldn't have done that with a free software. I
Oh,
couldn't have done
manually changing everything.
that.
Oh.
Ew. So, yeah, you know, and I think raising awareness about what's possible, but also allowing people to build smart systems now, like you said, so they don't have to be rebuilt later.
Yeah. So if you've got clients coming in who are not particularly techy, do you recommend different systems for different industries or different types of people? Or do you have a favorite platform that you're like, no, no matter what, this is the easiest one to use? Which way do you go
Yeah.
there?
Yeah, so we back a platform called Builderall. We haven't designed the software, but we work very, very closely with the software designers. So what that allows us to do is be able to show our clients, no matter what they're building or where they're at in their journey, whether that's startup or extremely successful already, it allows us to be able to put everything into that one system for them. So I think it was key for me to be able to find something that I knew worked, that I used personally. I think it's really important as somebody that coaches other people to actually do what you coach.
Walk the talk.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's something I can definitely see coming out in this coaching space at the moment, is people that are making promises to you they can't keep. You know,
Mhm.
and that's the other thing is, you know, there are a lot of people out there like, hey, you get ClickFunnels, do this, do that. And it's like some of these people aren't even using them every day.
Mhm.
You know, so how can they tell you that when you put the system under pressure, it's going to hold you? Yeah. So I think it was really important to be able to find that, and then have the understanding and trust that the software developers were going to work with us to be able to deliver that end result to the client. And I reckon we're on a pretty good strike rate at the moment. We haven't had any haters yet, so that's a good sign. But yeah, look, it's been years of research. It's been years of test and measure. And when I did find that platform, it was putting every waking second that I had into building it first and going first before I recommended it to any of my clients. So
Yeah. So you know it inside and out. Yeah.
absolutely. And then being able to teach them. So again, enabling people to be able to run their empires rather than disabling them, giving you a software, building it for you, making it look all pretty, and then handing it to you. And you're like, I have no idea
What to do?
with
How
this.
do I update the website? What if
Exactly.
I want to run a flash sale?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
People can't do it, you know. So I think there's too many people out there that are creating systems for people that aren't manageable, and disabling you as a business owner to be able to expand and get your own team. That's what we want for you. We want you to be able to expand and scale and do it in a way that works for you, not for your coach. It needs to be what feels right for you. So again, you know, being able to show clients what, you know, how to update the website, how to build a membership area, how to, you know, build the course and do all those things. So you get to be able to give your business a facelift at the same time you learn,
Mhm.
which is, it's incredible.
Yeah. And I can tell just from our conversation that you know this platform inside out. Just all the stuff that we've talked about in this last half hour is all the little things that are 10 years worth of entrepreneurial living in my brain, from things
Mm,
like automations and chatbox and email lists and
mhm.
advertising and, you
Yeah.
know, hosting your online courses and doing your memberships and updating sales. Like there's so much that goes into it. And I think that's where a lot of the overwhelm comes in for business owners, is they're basically like, I signed up for this because I didn't know it was missing this, and this is what I would need in 12 months time when I
Yeah.
want to offer this. And so that's why I think with our listeners today, if it's all right with you, I think we should probably leave a link in the show notes so that if they want to
Yeah, of
get in
course.
touch with you and say, here's how I run the business. What do I need systems wise?
Yeah.
It gives them someone to actually talk to, that or your team
100%.
who knows what they're talking about.
Yeah, 100%. And we do have a strategy session where we're happy just to sit down with you and have a look at what you're doing and just give you some pointers on what we think would be best. Like it's not about you having to do a program. It's just about us, like we said, raising awareness on what's possible and really helping you cast a bigger vision. A lot of people got big vision. I want to earn, $250,000 a month and blah, blah, blah. But they haven't actually sat down and gone, well, what do I need to create to try and to earn that type of money?
Yeah, what do I sell and how do I deliver it and how do I hit that level?
Yeah, because if you're going to be creating $250,000 a month, I can absolutely guarantee you business isn't going to look like what it does now. So if your end result is massive, your systems and softwares that you're using now are absolutely imperative to be able to create. Otherwise, what's going to happen is you might still get there, but you're going to get there and it's going to be clunky, it's going to be painful, and I can almost guarantee that you're probably going to have just given yourself like 100-hour work week, you know? So again, it's that locking into that end result of what you wanted to create. And for me, I made my kids my why, not my excuse. And I was able to create that time by getting smart with where I wanted to go.
Yeah, and that's where it comes down to really solid foundations, using your software, using your systems, using your processes to really set that solid foundation to free you up in the long run. It's totally worth it. Yeah.
And having somebody to look at your brand and your vibe and your style and the way that you're presenting as well, So it's not just systems and automations. It's literally the whole entire creation, and making sure that everything is in sync.
Yeah, that it all works well together. That makes so much sense, Mel. I'm so glad that you came on the show today and shared this stuff with us, because a lot of this stuff people wouldn't even think of. They really wouldn't.
I had no idea. I had to learn the hard way. I signed up for all the things. I signed up for all the things. And then upgraded all the things, and then I built all the things, and then like I said, I tried to scale, and I literally just kept hitting this glass roof because it was impossible. The systems didn't match the action, which didn't match the lead generation. So there was just all these inconsistencies, and it felt yuck. So for anyone listening that's in that space right now, like I get it, and Marissa, you would too, where it's like it felt so icky for so long, where I was like, is it really this hard? No wonder everyone doesn't do this, because it's horrible. But then I just kept seeing women that were, winning and crushing, and I'm thinking, like, what's the difference? And as I started to go down that rabbit hole and I started to invest, it was like, right. They're very, very sure on what they're creating long before they create it.
It really makes a difference, and it frees you up to be able to do the stuff you love, because you're confident that everything running behind the scenes and everything is aligned and working well together, and the image that you're projecting out into the world matches what you're actually delivering on. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
And I'm really, spare of the moment. I'm like, I'll create a new program today because of the automations in the background. I can. Yeah. Because I can create it and know that the system's going to continue to support my growth. For 5 to 10 years down the track, this one software is going to continue to support me. And so that means that I can just stay in the places that I want to be, which is in creativity and impact, So again, it's allowed me to create that purpose and passion, and then create that success.
Yeah. And that's why we started in the first place. It's why you start your own business, for that stuff that lights you up. Yeah. I find you very inspiring when you talk, and I know you've got an email coaching program available on your website. It's 14 days worth of email coaching with you. People can sign up, and that's a free one, right? People can head over to your website. I'm going to pop a link in the show notes for that too, because I think that will be the kick in the pants that people might need to actually take a couple more motivated steps into setting up their business in a way that's going to work well for them.
Yeah, it really is. Look, it's 14 days of direct coaching sent to you. So sometimes it's the little wake up call. It might be the nudge. It might be the kick in the bum that you need that day to be like, what are you doing where are you at and where are you going?
Yeah.
And having those things to really start dialing into. And I really believe that it's important that, you're getting value and you're really, finding out who people are when you start bringing them into your space. So I'm more than happy for your listeners to jump on board with that.
Amazing. Thank you. And for everybody who is listening out there, I hope that you got some value out of the convo like I did. This has been a really, really fun chat. And it's really nice to be reminded that there's some stuff out there available that can make your life easier instead of adding more hours to your working week. So yeah, thank you, Mel, for joining me. And
you're most welcome. And I think also, like, leaving on the note of thinking, like, there are these softwares out there, but then if you're still in that mindset of, oh, I'll go and sign up to Build It All now, and I'll go and build all the things, you're still acting out of that scarcity mindset where it's like, I've still got to be the one that does all, and I've got to learn, and right. So again, it's about those quantum leaps, collapsing time, because God, I couldn't imagine how long it would take somebody to go and learn all of the things.
Then you'd just be working for the system.
You're back to square one again. So, it really is about, like you said, finding people to bring to your table that have done what you've done faster and can shed light on how they did it.
Yeah, the right people make all the difference. And the people who they know confidently and clearly what's working. Yeah. I agree. Lovely. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Simpler Business Podcast. If you did, please subscribe, rate, and review us on Apple Podcasts. There's a link in the show notes to make it nice and easy for you, just the way we like it. If you're ready to simplify and scale your business, you can get started with my free audio class at marissaroberts.com. See you next time.